Hello everyone and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Portelles, and for today's video we have a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. And for today I am so excited to present to you my guest. So this person is what you can consider to be a trailblazer because Kataluna Enriquez is the first ever trans woman who is competed for the crown of Miss USA. Not only that, but she was also born and raised in the Philippines. So during our conversation, we are going to talk about so many things: heritage, expectations, social constructs, a sense of community, dreams, and Miss Universe, of course. So everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I did filming it with Kataluna. And if you do, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what you think about our conversation. Don't forget to show her some love as well. So I will leave all of her links in the description down below. And without further ado, I won't keep you waiting too long. Let me introduce you to Kataluna right after the intro. All right, everyone, welcome once again to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. And just like I promised, here I have the beautiful, the magnificent Kataluna Enrique. How are you doing, my dear?
Good. I'm great. I'm sorry that it took forever to get here, but I'm so excited to talk to you.
It's so worth the wait. You are amazing, and I'm so excited to have you here with us. And a few people have been asking, so I know that my audience is happy as well.
Yay.
Yes. So Cataluna, let's start by talking about you. So for those out there who don't know you, who might not be familiar with you, how would you introduce yourself to them?
I am Kataluna. I am a healthcare admin. I specialize in LGBTQ plus care and also a huge advocate for mental health, fashion designer and owner of my own business, Kataluna Couture. And I also do modeling, but I am the first trans woman to compete at the Miss USA as a representative of Nevada.
Amazing. Congratulations. I love
Thank
that.
you.
I love it for you. I love the representation for the community. It's just amazing. And we're going to talk about all of those things during the interview. So
Yes.
super excited about this. So a fun fact about you is that you were born and raised in the Philippines up until you were 10 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you
What
did
is
your
the
research.
relationship? Girl, girl, I was on that Wikipedia like doing my homework. What is your relationship like with your Filipino heritage of
So
your
yeah,
history?
the great thing about being an American or being where I am is that there's so many Filipinos all over the world.
Yeah.
And I still practice my culture. And so I've grew up both in the Philippines and here in the US. And I've mixed the two to create me who I am now. And I'm living two best things from in my opinion, but I still carry the traditional Filipino culture and I celebrate it as much as possible. I
Yeah.
speak four languages.
Mm.
My main languages are Tagalog and English is actually my third language. So I celebrate that diversity and my culture because I think it's so important. It's so unique too.
Yes, that's also beautiful. And I can relate to that. I'm Cuban. I was born and raised in Cuba. I moved to Canada. I live in Montreal now. So it's like it's a blend of things, right? And you incorporate
Yeah.
everything into your person to create your own
And you
identity.
grow so much too from things that you didn't know as a Cuban or as a Filipino. There's certain things that before you moved out of your island or your country, there's so many things that you didn't know, but you expand your mind. And I think that's the beauty of it too.
Yes, it challenges you and it just
Absolutely.
makes you grow. Amazing. So beauty pageants are something big, huge in the Philippines. Is this where your love for pageants started, or was it later in life?
I think so. I mean, I didn't, at a young age, pageant was a huge thing, right? But I didn't necessarily pay attention to it at a young age. In my opinion, there was a time where I thought pageantry was just objectifying women and sexualizing them. However, I've learned to change that mentality by listening to them and actually with Miss Universe and how they share their stories and their
Yeah.
platform and what they do. Talking about that is so important because it changes the narrative and allows people to see beautiful women, but also accomplished and empowered women.
Yes, I love that. And it's so true. I feel like for a lot of people, the first impression about pageants is that it's very superficial and that it's very
Mhm.
objectifying for
Yeah.
women. That was my first impression. But after doing my research, after, watching several pageants, look at me now, like I'm here interviewing queens. So yes, I love that evolution as well. So let's talk a little bit about you and your journey within pageantry. So I feel like things happen pretty fast for you, like very quickly. Um, so in March 2021, you won
Mhm.
the Miss Silver State USA pageant. In
Yeah, that
June,
was February actually.
February, okay.
Yes.
All right. In June, and correct me if the dates are not like perfect. In June 2021, you were crowned Miss Nevada USA,
Yes, I am.
which automatically qualifies you for Miss USA.
Yes.
So everything happening so fast, what was your state of mind as you were going through this entire process?
Y- You know, my first intention is always to just grow better and to become the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Going into Silver State, I could have just went on to straight compete for Miss Nevada, but I wanted to start with a preliminary competition and work on things that I was setting aside. Well, not setting aside, things that I think that was pushing me behind and things that no longer benefited my life,
Mhm.
traumas and things that I learned that are not no longer beneficial for me.
Yeah.
So I've when I competed in this other pageant before in a different state, my experience was so bad that I was so scared and traumatized to compete again and to compete in anywhere. And when I went to Miss Silver State, I went by myself. I didn't ask any of my friends because I wanted to go there and really just be in the moment and then end that trauma. And that was, I am very proud of that moment because from then on, I knew that I was capable of being more than um, what I am and what I can do. And from then on, I really just focused on being the best version of me and growing internally. And
Mm.
in that process too. And this year is so important for me because I've grown so much. Like speaking, I hated speaking because
Mhm.
speaking was at a young age, as you know, as a person who's in the LGBTQ plus community, the more that you're out there, the more that people will target you and bully
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And so for me, in order for me to survive, I was just quiet for as long as possible. And with the beauty industry, the beauty pageant industry, you can't be quiet. You have to use your voice. And so I had to learn that and break that pattern of quietness and be able to use my voice. And with pageantry, and this year alone, I was able to really get that out and practice on my speech, on my speaking skills and communication skills. And
Yeah.
it's really beneficial. And I'm very proud of myself for
That's so amazing. And look at you now. I mean, look at the
that.
position where you are as of right now. It's incredible when you think about the entire journey and all of the
Yeah.
moments in your life that brought you to where you are at the moment. So that's incredible. So because now you were crowned Miss Nevada USA, you automatically qualify for Miss USA, which will make you the first ever trans woman to compete
Mhm.
in Miss USA. How does
Yes.
that make you feel? Is that like something heavy to carry with you or something that makes you feel proud, a challenge? How would you describe it?
I am so proud because that's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I've been trying to get into the system for almost 5 years. And in that last 3 years, I would always submit my application in a different state and I would never get approved. And they would just not let me compete. And then when I competed, they just discriminated me. And like again, that was a whole trauma process for me. So at this moment now, I'm actually living my life and something that I fought for so many years.
Yes.
And I never thought that I could do this or anyone could like me could represent. And so I'm happy because I'm changing a future, but also changing many possibilities for many women and younger children as well.
Yes, you're a trailblazer in that sense. Opening the door and paving the way for everyone after
That's
you.
the goal.
Absolutely. How did you feel? I mean, I remember when you were crowned Miss Nevada USA, like there was like within the pageant community, like everyone was talking about it. You were like pretty much everywhere. I saw you on the news, I saw you on the pageant blogs. Well, how did you feel at that point, receiving so much attention and people talking about you?
I'm happy and I'm very thankful because I'm starting the conversation. And I think as Miss USA. That's what you're supposed to do. You're
Mhm.
supposed to represent people. You're supposed to talk and change and be an influence. And for me, I always think it's a positive influence. There's so many people that don't agree, and people think that me being trans and competing with cis women is taking another space for another. But for me, being there is really just expanding the door for all women.
Yeah.
uh, People still have this idea of what a woman is, but in reality, a woman shouldn't be defined by certain things. We shouldn't be put in a box. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing, unboxing all those.
I love that. And it's kind of related to my next question for you. So, getting all of this attention, people talking about you comes with a lot of love, people who will love you, support you, uplift you. But then there's also people who don't agree, who, don't think that you should be there. And within the pageant community, sometimes this can be a subject of discussion. We see it very
Yes.
often in Q&As. We see it very often in, it's controversial to a certain extent for some people. So because the inclusivity of trans people seem to be, a subject that makes people talk. As a trans person yourself, how does it make you feel to have others determine what you can and what you cannot do, try to limit the things that you can achieve in life as a human being at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. What I really don't like is when someone discusses what trans is and them not being trans. So, like, what's the point of representation or inclusivity or diversity
Mhm.
when you will speak up for another person when you never know what they're going through or what their actual life reality is?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And for those out there who say or who believe that you do not belong in Miss USA or in Miss Universe, what would you tell them? What would be your message for them?
I'm still here.
I love
No,
it.
I, I, in some ways, I understand them, but
Mhm.
we have to look at it in a bigger picture. For me, at least, I'm always open-minded, and being a trans person is not just fighting for trans right too, is not just fighting for trans people. For
Yeah.
me, being trans is to be more than just a body, right? To be more than what society expects you to be. And to fight for trans right, that means you're fighting for women to be given the opportunities that they deserve, regardless of their body, or for men to be able to express themselves without being viewed too feminine or less masculine.
Yeah.
That's what trans rights is, to be beyond just a body, to be able to express yourself freely without any limitations.
Wow. Standing wait. I love that. It's actually something that I feel like we've been talking a little bit within the pageant community recently, because this was one of the questions that was asked to the crowned queen of Miss South Africa.
Yes.
Yes, Lalela did such an amazing job with that Q&A. And once again, it's always taken it back to the human aspect. It's not just about sex or gender or this and that.
Yeah.
It's really about just who you are as a person. So
People
very
need to stop sexualizing the LGBTQ plus community. It has nothing to do about sexual stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still people.
absolutely, absolutely. It has nothing to do with sex, and
Yeah.
and whatever is going on in our lives is no one's business. Like what matters
Yeah.
is who we are as
Absolutely.
people, as persons. So as you were mentioning earlier, there's also a creative side to Cataluna. In addition to being a beauty queen, you're also a graduate of the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising.
Yes.
I heard you also design most of your gowns.
Yes.
Ooh, through your own label.
Yes.
Damn. How do you do it all?
I have no idea, to be honest. But for this year, with Miss USA coming up, we have like the state costume, and then I'm having two gowns. I'm getting a lot of help as much as possible with my team and with my director from Silver State. She's been very helpful with stoning my gowns and preparing me. But with state costume, I'm doing that as well. I really try to put my work and my vision to life, because when I'm wearing something, I don't want to just wear it because it's just another thing to wear, but I want to wear it because there's a message to it, and there's hard work and passion in it. And I think that's what stands out too when I compete. It's because I'm not just going there, I'm bringing everything, I'm representing everything.
Absolutely. When you think of ideas of what you want to create, the concepts that you want to incorporate into your gowns and, the things that you do, where do you get that inspiration from?
It really depends. I usually have a message on my dress or what I'm going for, but I usually, in terms of designing, I've always tried to design something that will complement the body, but not hide it. A lot of people wear something to make them look better, when I think a dress should only, you should be complementing the dress, if anything.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's my mentality to it. So you should always wear something with your personality, something that really represents you. So for me, going into Miss USA, I'm not sure if there's, I'm going to send you a little detail about what I'm wearing, but Miss USA, because it's November, it's Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's when we honor the month of November is when we honor trans people who are murdered the entire year. And
yes.
one of my dresses will be honoring them.
Got the chills. I love that. I cannot wait to see everything that you're going to do during the pageant. It's just going to be so, so exciting and so important for the community, right? Yes. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Um, you're also a healthcare administrator. Are you in school still, or did you already graduate?
No, that one I didn't graduate. It just kind of fell into me.
Ah, nice. Because I saw like some stories of you like preparing, and I was like, I think she's still in school.
No, I try to do my homework in terms of preparations. With Miss USA or in any pageant system, it's not just looking pretty or looking healthy. You really need to practice. And for me, it's mental health.
Yeah.
So that's journaling and then doing your research, what's going on with the world and stuff like that. People don't really know that, but
Yes,
just thought
absolutely.
I'd share that.
When it comes to, very often when we talk to beauty queens, we like to put them on the spot and ask
Yeah.
them questions about, okay, you this, you that, you that. But now let's change the tables, like let's turn around the tables and ask you from your perspective, what is the impact of what you're doing for the community? How does this change the game? What do you think is the long-term impact of everything that you are doing right now?
I think it's just opening doors. In the 70 years of Miss USA, there has never been a person of the LGBTQ plus community to win the title. There has never been a Filipino woman. There's only been 3 Asian women, and they were all of mixed blood, so never a full-blooded. And
Mhm.
I'd love to just add myself in that list, and show the universe, if anything, like a woman who is a once in a lifetime woman. And I just want to continue opening doors and expanding the standards that just limited people for so many years.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that for a fact, right now you are competing for Miss USA, but there's people from all around the globe looking at you and being inspired. I personally know, there's one person on my channel, this one subscriber, is called Cast for Run. On every premiere that I do, he is there and he has like harsh critiques for everyone. But he
Oh,
approached me and he was like, can you contact Cataluna? Like, I really wanna, see an interview with her.
well, hi.
So I was like, if Casper Run is inspired by Cataluna, then I really have to get her.
Oh, I
That means
love
you're
it.
doing something right.
I love it.
So the fact, so the reason why I was bringing up these things, about beauty pageants, designer, healthcare administrator, is what do you think this says about trans people when people try to
Mm.
put you in a box or tell you that you can only do this or that or you should do things in a certain way? How do you feel like your experience in life, um what message does it send to the universe?
So, what people don't understand, people think that being trans is just a new thing, but it has always existed in so many ways and in history, even before colonization, and especially indigenous culture. Trans people have always existed. What is new is the word trans.
Mhm.
Uh, so for me, being trans, it's a message of hope for so many trans people, but it's also defining what it means to be trans, and possibilities for other people. So usually in the trans community, people rely on sex work in order to survive, and not sometimes it's not a choice. It's sometimes it's just the only thing that they can do
Yeah.
because we are denied job opportunities. In the US, there's still states out there who are trying to deny us healthcare and basic human rights. And I don't think that's right at all. So for me, for someone who is being an example as a healthcare admin, a fashion designer, a model, someone who is more than just one thing, I am being an example for future trans people and for other trans people, or anyone really, that you could be more than just one thing.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful message to put out there. And I hope that people are taking notes, you know? Yes. Is your family supportive of your journey in pageantry?
At first, in pageantry, yes,
Yeah.
they've been very, very supportive. But in terms of transitioning, they weren't always supportive, but now they're very supportive and very proud.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes it takes time, you know. I'm gay and I
Yeah.
had like my journey with my family was an evolution. But yes, ultimately they
An evolution, I love it.
was a journey. But it ended
Yeah.
up being all good. And you know, sometimes it takes you have to give people time and stuff to kind of adjust. But I'm glad to hear that things are
And
well.
especially what people don't understand too is, for me transitioning, I had to learn that whole process. And for someone who, I guess, who is gay or anyone in the LGBTQ plus community, uh, sometimes we don't know what's going to happen and we have to learn ourselves and try to figure out who we are. But then that also applies to everyone around us, to our parents, to our friends, trying to understand how to communicate with us, how to be friends or to be with us.
Mhm.
So it takes a time. So we can't just force everyone to accept. And that's one thing that especially that I am very, I stand against, or not against, I strongly stand with. You can't tell everyone to accept you. And being trans is not forcing everyone to accept you, but accepting that we exist and that we also deserve respect as humans, as anyone else.
Exactly. I do feel like being part of the LGBTQ plus community comes with a little bit of, you know, educating others. And sometimes,
Mhm.
I mean, I know personally that when I was ready to come out, it took me maybe like a year to kind of like internalize all the ideas, accept myself, like embrace myself for who I was, and then come out to the world. Um, but then I told myself I cannot expect like I took a year to like, you know, accept myself. I cannot expect everyone
Mhm.
from the beginning to be like, yes. Yeah. So
Can
sometimes
I ask how old were you when you, I'm doing my interview now. How old were you when you
taking over.
how old were you when you realized that you were a member of the LGBTQ plus
When
community?
I realized, I mean, I realized that I was gay probably when I was 16-ish. And
Mm.
then I came out when I was 17 years old. But I always felt different. It's just that I used to live in
Yeah.
Cuba. We didn't talk about sexuality or homosexuality or anything at all. So I could never really attach like how I felt to anything. Like I couldn't um, relate to anyone.
Yeah. The same, I'm the same way. Did you feel lost growing up?
Yeah, so lost because I mean, in
Mhm.
my head, I was like heterosexual and everything that I will do, like every behavior, every like,
It
I
was
don't
just
know.
natural, right? And you
Yeah,
felt correct, but then people told you, no, you're wrong.
exactly. And they wouldn't call me like gay or something. They would just tell me that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like he is undefined or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the same way with me. And this is why we're matching right now.
I mean, twins. I love it. I love it. And you know, this conversation that we're having about educating others and accepting your stuff and all of that, it's also that sometimes applies as well to what you're doing, to the world of pageants. Because when you are the first, when you are a trailblazer, you know, you are kind of like in charge of educating people around you without even asking for it, you know. Some
Yeah.
people will approach you and they'll be like, oh, but I didn't know. Oh, how do I say this? How do I do this? So how do you feel about this responsibility that is thrown at you?
I'm open to it. I've wanted this position. And so I've been, girl, she's been ready.
Yes.
No, I don't mind, especially because I've advocate for mental health, right? And I started my mental health journey at a very young age. I was in high school and I started doing counseling already. Not about being trans, but about the trauma that I've experienced being born different and how people treated me. And through that, I've learned the importance of vulnerability. And that's why I also started my campaign, hashtag Be Visible, and just encouraging people to share your life, to be authentic and be vulnerable. I think vulnerability is what connects us as people.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds us that we're all human, that we all go through so many things. And at the end of the day, if you're not okay, that's completely okay. And if you feel okay, that's but the point is that you're still human, and that's one thing that we can always connect, regardless of what we're going through.
absolutely. I love that. And I agree with you 200%. So you were mentioning earlier that you experienced some traumatic moments while you were participating in certain pageants. Um, what do you think is something that people don't understand, or why is it that they discriminate against you? Do they even give you the chance to like show them who you are as a person, or what was the experience like? If you feel comfortable talking about it, of course.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I won't mention the state, but when I was submitting my application, I've been submitting my application for more than 3 years in that state, and they just wouldn't approve it, right?
Mhm.
And when I've asked people, they were like, "No, it's so easy to as long as you can pay for the application, you should be fine." So I
Mhm.
was like, "Huh, interesting." And then when I actually got approved, I've always put in my application that I'm trans, and I've always been open about it. It's all over my social media. But when I put my when they approved for my application, they later said, "Oh, we did a background check on you and realized that you're trans. We need more documents from you." And I gave them my documents. I've been legally female for as long as I can remember. I've lived a life as a female. For me, for more than just since, in my opinion, the day I was born, I never lived as a man.
Yeah.
And I never benefited from that as well. And so when they asked for more documents, I said, okay, here you go. Here's my court order. Here's my legal documents that is approved by the entire country. And they were like, no, we need more documents from your doctor saying that you need to get examined saying that you're actually a female. So that to me is so invasive because you're basically disregarding what the law, disregarding what the country did for me, or what the how I've been identifying for so many years, disregarding the female marker because you realize that I'm trans.
Exactly. And once again, reducing who you are as a person to whatever they define as being like acceptable
Yeah.
for a trans person, right? So yeah, that's
And
something I hear
also,
very often.
one of the hurtful thing in there was they were giving out, they were mentioning the roommates for everyone, and there was about 80 of us. So if you were one, your roommate is two, and they specifically skipped me just to tell me at the end, "Oh, you don't have a roommate." And then I cried going into my room. In my head, I was like, "Okay, I have more space," but then I cried because I knew then that they just didn't want me there.
I see. That's terrible. Well, look at you now. Now you have a lesson to, look back at
Yeah.
it and be like, well, I did even better than this. Yeah, so looking at the bright side now, because there are so many exciting things coming up for you, and I'm sure that you will do amazing. So I'm not even worried about you.
Thank you.
So taking into consideration all of these things that we've been mentioning so far, the good, the bad, the positive, the traumatic experiences, what do you want the world to know about trans women, trans people, in general?
That we're just like you.
Yeah,
We're we're people. We're all different, regardless if you're trans or not. We're all different and unique in so many ways. And why do we focus on hating each other and tearing each other down when we can just love each other?
yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is from Oprah, and she said, um, "Hate has caused so many problems in this world, but never solved one. So why do we keep throwing hate around?"
That part. Oprah knows best.
Yes.
Always. So may I ask you, I know that this is something that was brought up. I think it was during your interview with Boy Abunda, Tito Boy Abunda. Um, would you ever consider representing for the Philippines if given the chance? Because I know that in the Philippines it's kind of a, you know,
The law
yeah,
will never allow me to compete. That would be great. It's also my last year to compete to be eligible. So I'm very happy that I got it just the last minute. uh, but if there's any chance, yeah, I would love to. But either or, American or the US or the Philippines, it doesn't really matter for me because I'm going in there representing myself,
yeah,
obviously representing my culture, but my community as well.
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter which flag I'm carrying as long as I can represent.
Yes, absolutely. There were some people asking me to mention that because one of my friends, Katrina Dimarana, she
Love
represented,
her, yeah.
yeah, I love her so much. She represented for the US, then she went back to the Philippines to compete in Miss Universe Philippines as well. So
She
people was
did
like,
so well.
yeah, she was, I mean, amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
So they were like, what about Cataluna? Will she ever consider?
I
So,
wish, I wish. It's just the law in the Philippines. You
yeah.
can't change your birth certificate.
Mhm.
And in order for me to go to the Philippines, or to compete in the Philippines system, I would need a dual citizenship
Yeah.
because I am an American citizen. I would need to get a Filipino passport, which I can.
Yeah.
Issue with that is they will need my birth certificate to get a passport, and then they will put male and my original or my dead name.
I see.
And that means I'm not eligible to compete.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, all of the paperwork, the trauma, and the laws.
Yeah.
In another life, maybe.
If they're not looking at the law or document wise, I can compete. It's just in terms of eligibility, I can't because of documents.
The laws.
Yeah.
Well, let's forget about everything for a second, about sex, gender, social constructs. I want you to think of you as a human being right now and tell me, why should you be the next Miss USA?
Ugh. Because I am a fighter. At a young age, I fought so I could use my voice, so I can have the right to live. So I would not just be a victim of physical and sexual abuse, but to be a trailblazer. I've turned my trauma into triumph and my adversities into opportunities. And that is what a Miss USA does.
I love that. And it's such an inspiring story, so uplifting that you were able to take, such a heavy bag, like so many things that you went through and turn it into something positive, not only for yourself, but also that will inspire and uplift an entire community. That's remarkable. Nothing but respect
Thank
for you.
you. Thank you.
So we often ask the delegates, do you feel ready for the competition? How they're feeling. But I'm gonna ask you something slightly different. Do
Oh,
you
ask
think?
me anything.
Ooh, okay. This is my type of girl. Do you feel the United States is ready for the first Miss USA, the first trans woman for Miss USA? Because we know everything, like politically speaking, in the
Mhm.
USA, it's very divided. You were talking about, earlier about hate crimes against trans people. So do you feel like the United States is ready for this?
No, but I will make them.
Hmm. Sometimes you have to
Yeah,
take them out of their comfort zone and show them.
absolutely.
Yes, great answer. I love that. And so if you get the title during the competition, um, not only you will become the first trans woman to win the title, but also that means that you will win your crown and you will have to go and compete for Miss Universe within the same week.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
I'm excited. I've been looking at comments and a lot of people are like, well, she's not going to have time to get ready, whoever Miss USA is. But Crystal Stewart have told every single one of us that we have to prepare as if we're preparing for or competing for Miss Universe. And so that means if you're packing, pack like you're going to Miss Universe because you never know if that's going to be you. And even with document wise, I mean, they've already asked us, in terms of vaccination, if you're vaccinated, boosters and stuff like that, your passport, make sure it's ready for Israel, not ready for Miss USA, but ready for Miss Universe.
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to the competition itself, what is it that you're focusing on when it comes to your preparation? Is it, I don't know, like the walk, Q&A? What is it that?
For me, it's Q&A because I tend to I can't answer that well if I hear other people's answers, because in my head I'm thinking, how do I hype this person? How do I do better than their questions? So sometimes I just really need to tell myself that I'm in a different lane. I have a different story, and all I need to do is focus on that and focus on the question.
Yeah.
But other than that, this helps too. I've been doing lots of interviews, so I can get ready and just get comfortable with speaking.
Absolutely. Something that I love is when the beauty queens make the answers, like they personalize it, and they add their own touch or their own story. And you have such a beautiful story. So just think of you, of everything that you've been through, apply it to the answer, and you got this in the bag.
Thank you. Thank you.
So regardless of the outcome of the Miss USA competition, if you go to Miss Universe, or if you go to Miss Universe and you get it or not, what do you want people to remember from you as a person? Earlier, I was asking you about the visibility for trans people, but you as a person, think of your essence. What do you want them to remember you for?
Someone who is an example of what is impossible. So the standard should always be impossible. You should always reach for what is impossible and break that. For me, what is impossible is simply never been done.
Yes.
So you should always try to go for that.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. You're amazing.
Thank you.
That was actually my last question for the interview.
Oh,
It went by so fast, no?
no.
Let's stay here.
I don't mind. Let's talk shit. No, I'm joking.
But Kataluna, before we go, I want you to address the audience and tell them where they can find you on social media, how they can support you. I mean, how can we support you on your journey? And yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, so you can follow me on my personal account on Instagram. It's usually just Instagram for me. It's MS Kataluna, so Miss Kataluna. And I'm also currently running the Miss Nevada and the Miss Silver State. So if you need to reach out to me, you can also use those. And if you could follow those and share those too as well, that would be great.
Amazing. All the links will be in the description down below, everyone. So you just go ahead, follow, like, support, comment. You already know the drill. Katarina, it's been such a pleasure to have you here with us. Honestly, I am more than honored, and I am excited for your journey, for what you're going to do, for what you represent. And just, as a whole, I'm in love already. So anything that I can do to support you, I'm a DM away. And yeah, I'll be in touch. I'll be
Okay, thank you. Hopefully, if I win Miss USA, we get to do another interview, because I know that you love interviewing the Miss Universe girls and doing reviews. So I'd love to do that. Or if you're gonna do a review
I was not gonna tell everyone, but yes, I'm doing a review.
And be honest. I love honesty. So
for sure, always honesty. Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you can imagine for taking some time and spending it here with me. And for everyone watching us, thank you so much for staying until the end. Until I see you next time, please stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon with another episode.
thank you.